What is developmental psychology? Developmental psychology is the study of how people grow, change, and learn throughout their entire lives. It explores how we develop from tiny babies to children, teenagers, adults, and older adults. Physically, it asks questions like, how do we learn to walk and talk? Why do our feelings change as we get older? How do our friendships, thoughts, and personalities develop over time? Let's start at the very beginning. When a baby is born, they already have an amazing brain that's ready to learn, but it needs experiences to grow stronger. Developmental psychologists study how babies learn to recognize faces, understand sounds, and bond with the people who care for them. At first, babies can't talk, but they communicate in other ways, through eye contact, smiles, and crying. As they get older, they learn language incredibly fast, sometimes picking up new words every single day. As children grow, so does their thinking. A toddler might believe that if they can't see you, you can't see them. This is part of their early understanding of the world. By school age, children start developing logic, creativity, and problem-solving skills. They begin to understand rules, share ideas, and imagine things that don't exist. One important idea in developmental psychology is object permanence, the understanding that things still exist even when you can't see them. For a baby, covering a toy with a blanket might make it seem like it disappeared. Later, they realize it's still there. This small discovery is a big step in how their mind grows. Another major area is emotional development. Children learn how to express feelings, manage frustration, and understand how others feel. This is often called emotional intelligence. For example, a young child might cry when they lose a game because they haven't yet learned how to cope with disappointment. As they mature, they start understanding that mistakes and challenges are normal and manageable. Social development is just as important. How we make friends, how we learn kindness, and how we understand fairness all develop over time. A child may first play alone, then alongside others, and eventually with others, sharing stories, games, and ideas. Developmental psychologists study how these social skills form and why they matter for our future relationships. As kids become teenagers, even bigger changes happen. The brain goes through a huge growth spurt, especially in the areas that control planning, decision-making, and emotions. This is why teenagers might feel more intense emotions or take more risks, because their brains are still building the circuits needed for self-control and long-term thinking. And development doesn't stop when childhood ends. It continues throughout adulthood. We keep learning new skills, forming relationships, discovering who we are, and adapting to new challenges. Even older adults continue to grow in wisdom, perspective, and emotional understanding. Developmental psychology teaches us that change is a natural part of life. It helps us understand why people think differently at different ages. And it reminds us that everyone grows at their own pace. Most importantly, it shows us that every stage of life, from baby to adult, is filled with learning, growth, and opportunities to become the best version of ourselves.
If you enjoyed our channel, please click subscribe.